Hello, friends. Patch here and Susan, and I understand that today is Teacher's Day. And I've been thinking about this, Susan. Yes, I am a physician and a clown, and yes, you are a composer and a musician, and yet, if you look closely at our lives, we've been teachers all of our life. That I think we've been teachers because the things we know we think are really valuable for other people to know. And that in an impositional way, the world needs to change. And I don't know that we see a way for that to happen without teaching. So you have the School for Designing a Society. I mean, what could be more radical than that? The society is unhealthy, and without teaching, it'll get more unhealthy. Mm-hmm. And for 30 years before COVID, I was hired to go all over the world to teach. And it's interesting, I think, that I did not teach medical subjects. I taught social subjects, living a life of joy, what is your love strategy? And
you don't consider social subjects inherently medical or something?
Well, right. None of the things I talk about were ever mentioned in medical school.
And that's why you bring them up. Though,
right, exactly. So, I mean, it says that there are important things to teach. Mm-hmm. That I don't think of it as a job. I'm tickled to be paid for it. But I think what I see in letters that people write and so many other things, I see that they don't have much idea about living joyfully. The number one prescribed medicines are antidepressants. And I'm sitting here thinking, if you have food and a friend, what are you depressed for? And yet in my life as an adult now in medicine, 54 years, that joy, living joyfully, is a giant mystery to people. And what mysteries do you feel that you all developed the school for?
Well, I think there was a time period when people thought that you went to school to study ideas and to study how to think. How to think, not what to think, but how to think. And there was an almost reverential quality about getting into a school and being in a small group and the teacher saying something that would make you go, huh? And wow, and you think about it. Think about it. But I think that has changed, and as we see capitalism taking over many things that initially it hadn't taken over, like it's taken over healthcare. Mm-hmm. It's also taken over education.
Right.
So even Bill Gates, Melinda Gates have this direction in which they feel that schools that are teaching how to think are really not of use. They want to fund schools that teach people how to do computer work, technical work, because they think that's really where the work of the future is going to be. And I even hear from friends in Evergreen, in the west side of the country, that this idea of being intelligent and making decisions and thinking is not valued by employers. So where does that lead us? And where do people find a way to learn how to think and enjoy thinking? Mm. By now, I think people want to find themselves in circumstances where they don't need to think about it because they don't know how to think about something. They don't say, give me a moment, I'll think about this, and I think I'll come up with an answer to your question. I rarely meet people who do that. So I look at what we've tried to do with the school. We've tried to combine wanting something that's not there yet, which in itself is a thinking process. How do you want something that's not there yet? And then try to figure out How do you make this thing happen? And there are two, and we don't know. So we as the teachers go back each time. We don't have the answers for that. It's not like we're asking a question like, what's the capital of Illinois? And we know the answer. We don't know the answer, but we want to be in those discussions. So I think all along the school has been trying to be a voice speaking for desire, for wanting what isn't there, except that you can almost envision it. Little things poke at it. You'll have a good conversation with somebody and you think, wow, I wish I could have that all the time. So trying to want something and then trying to bring it about, I think are the things that we've tried to do over and again. And also a fondness, a tickledness over strange ideas. Music that doesn't sound like music. Theater that doesn't behave like theater. Teachers that don't act like teachers, and students that don't act like students, who don't act like students. Instead of laughing at things that are odd, we cherish them. And we teach people, like, okay, we don't, that's a very strange thought. Say more. So that was a long answer. Sorry.
No, it relates to what happened to me in medicine.
Which is?
Well, I don't remember a single lecture on being well.
Yeah.
Health is being well, and I'm a health care professional, but I'm really made into a disease care specialist.
And did you notice that when you were in medical school?
I did.
And did you
because I already was
Wait, Patch.